Hello and welcome back to Stranded Deep. We find ourselves once more in the map editor looking at our large blue hole, what we punched in the ocean. And I have a little confession to make. You see, this episode should have been up yesterday, but obviously if you're watching these as they go out, if you subscribe, if you click the bell, and if you are receiving video notifications as they're going live, you would have probably noticed that nothing happened yesterday. That is because I started recording, and then I got to the end of the recording, and then I was like, "Oh, where is the audio file? That is a thing that is not there." So all the spoken words, all the wordy bits, the bit that I'm doing now, well, that disappeared. I used some recovery software, the old hard backup. It's like, where did it go? And couldn't find it at all. So I've just reverted a lot of the changes, although there's still going to be some weirdness like that. So let's just delete that real quick. And gone back to how the island was before the lost episode. There are a few things that will be kind of here that weren't here last time, like this yucca and rock, and a few other things like these little rocks here. So one of the things I did was to go around the island putting these rocks. These are, in fact, Shoreline Rock 2. Looks like this, and you just drag it out and pop it on the thing. And then I put these little rocks, these items, and I'll just go back to items, find rock in the R. Where is R? Rock, where are you? Scroll up. No, we're actually, there are three ways we can do this. We can scroll using the mouse wheel. We can click and drag the little slider, or we can just click and drag the actual list itself. Cool. So yeah, the rock, which is here. And so what we did is put the shoreline rocks down and then put rocks in amongst the shoreline rocks. I did it there. I did it there. Where else did we do it? I think we did it over here somewhere. Where are you? Shoreline rocks? Oh, over here. Okay. So shoreline rocks with rocks in. And over here. So that is what you won't know because you wouldn't have heard the recording, as I explained, that you want to encourage players to go and visit certain areas to get certain resources. So the ficus trees will have something beneath them. So in this case, it is aloe vera. In this case, it is a fruit tree. So, you know, there are certain things that you want players to associate with certain items. For these shoreline rocks, I tend to throw loose rocks in there. Not too many. You don't want to spoil a player. You don't want to give them everything in the world all at once because that takes the point of the game away. What you want to do is make them say, you know what I need to build next. So they'll go foraging around these areas for rocks. It's also kind of logical as well. Trees for food, rocks for rocks, and the like. So last episode, or last actual episode that went live, we made this lovely little sandbar because we felt that the ocean this side of the island was a little bit too cold. It just went island, ocean, kind of like it does here. Now, I don't mind this. It's probably not a bad thing to have this here so that anyone coming in this direction can just run their raft straight onto the beach. But this was just, you know, it didn't fit in with the design. We had these sandbars and we sort of brought this one round and I thought, you know, that's kind of cool. So what we need to do is put some plant life on there, not park life, because this isn't the 90s and we're not doing Britpop, but plant life. So, hold on to your pants, ladies and gentlemen, because I was also looking at this island here. This is going to be a weird sort of recap where I recap all the stuff that I know but nobody else knows because, it's strange. Yeah, I was looking at this island and it's like, there's no resources here. I wonder why. And then I saw the air tank and I was like, oh, hang on a minute. So a super even longer but short recap. This island, for people who are just joining for the first time, hello and welcome. Is a kind of request, a kind of challenge by one of the lads in the comments, Stanley Orchard and daughter, who who said, "Ooh, can you make a blue hole?" So I looked on the internet and found that there is such a geographical feature as a blue hole. There's one near Belize, and what it is a hole in the ocean that is deeper than the surrounding ocean. Well, stranded deep, it gets pretty deep when you're off the island tile. This isn't your granddaddy's 0.12 update. This is, we're on 0.4 something, 0.44, 0.45, I can't remember. So what we've done is created an apron on the outside. So it's kind of deep, kind of shallow. It's deep enough to hide a shipwreck, but it's also shallow enough to sort of swim around comfortably. But then we created blue hole. We threw a load of wrecks in there. Well, a few wrecks. We didn't go like crazy on the wrecks because, again, I don't want to give players a load of loot. There are some fun things down there for the adventurous type. But if we turn the ocean back on and we stick our face under the water, blammo, it gets pretty freaking deep. It gets pretty freaking scary. And I was like, oh, hang on a minute. One of the things you might need, I mean, you could use a breath booster, but I don't know how far down that would get you. What we could do, if we were being friendly, is to put an air tank on the island as a little vignette, like we've done. Oh, camera. I would like linear motion, please. So what we could do is create a little vignette, an old survivor camp style thing, and maybe put down an air tank. Now, I did say that I don't like putting loot down for players, not just like tons and tons of loot, but it might help the adventurous types swim around, and there is a chance that you would explore an entire map, opening the in-game loot boxes, the chests you find on wrecks, and you might never get an air tank. So, in the comments, say whether we should create a little vignette with an air tank on it for the players, or whether we should not, and just, make them get the stuff themselves. Because, it's nice for people to have input, In the meantime, yes, we have the soundbar. It's all right. It does what it needs to do. This side, it looks rather nice. It's very shallow. What we need to do is put some plants on it. What I think I might actually do is just raise it up a little bit. I'll just hit raise and lower. I'll hit raise, make sure the size is down a bit. So let's take the brush, a soft brush, and that is down. That is very down. This will lock onto points on the geometry. Can we raise it up a little bit? I have the amount all the way down. The amount always catches us out. I just want to raise it up a little bit in the middle to get some of that dry sand, because the texture changes depending on altitude of the mesh or the height of the mesh. Good. So we'll hit smooth, because what we've done is we've raised it up, and now it's all lumpy bumpy. And it's that kind of geometry it's very, very unforgiving. It's not very granular, I guess is a good word to use, unless you're in middle management, in which case, oh no, get out of middle management, please. I don't know. Middle managers tend to use different language to everyone else. I find it curious that people will say, oh, let me fry some ideas on your brain work. And I'm like, are you human? Are you serious? Ooh, we need to do a little bit. Oh, I've heard this one in real life. We need to do a bit of blue sky thinking, no? And I'm like, no. Your ideas have as much value as a patch of empty blue sky? That doesn't make any sense. And they're like, no. It is a, yeah, I know what it is. Please go away now. Go away fast. I've got some important work to do. I hasten to add that's not in my current place of work. That is a previous place of work. So yeah, that was that's a thing. But I have heard stuff like that in the past. It's very, very curious. I don't like this kind of just ridge, this kind of sausage shape of the dune. So what I'm going to do is hit lower, make sure the amount is down. This amount slider is inherited between all these settings. So we'll change the amount down, and we'll just. We're on raise, we want lower, and just punch that a little bit. Even though the amount is real far down, that did have quite an effect quite quickly. So smooth. We can crank it up now, rip the knob off. There we go. I just want some variation in the terrain. Cool. So what are we doing? Well, we are the youth of the nation, and we are putting rocks down because rocks are nature's nurseries. Whenever you see a rock in real life, you will chances are, especially on a beach, you'll find stuff around it, whether it's flotsam and jetsam, whether it's small animals, whether it's plants. Just because the rock itself just acts as a little, I suppose, keep net. It'll catch. It just catches stuff as it goes past. So what we're going to do is throw some palm trees down. Oh yeah. So I have said, and I will keep saying, that if you are, we're on trees, we want rocks. If you are thinking of making a map and you want people to play it, the best place, the absolute best place to put your map is in the Steam forums. There is a world editing subforum in the Steam forums specifically for maps and mapping. And I do go there quite a lot. I do go there, and I'm just a little curious, like checking out other people's stuff. And there's a lad, DJ CRS. He's made a map called Mangrove K, which you can find in the world editing subforum. And one of the things he's done, because mangroves aren't in the game anymore, they used to be right in the beginning. And what he's done is use Ficus 3, I believe. And is it Ficus 3? No, he's not. It's one of these. Ficus Tree 2, there we are. Like this. So what he's done is he's got shallow sandy regions, and he's put the ficus actually in the water, which I thought was kind of cool. Yeah, I like that. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm not going to do it here because, well, we're going to be doing something else. But I just thought that was a nice little touch. So if you're making maps, it's kind of like writing stories. You see little bits of other people's maps and you're like, oh, you know what? That's a really good idea. I'm stealing it. Absolutely. I mean, if there's good ideas, by all means, just thief them away. Everyone needs a Bob Ross bush on their little island. So yeah, there's no harm in doing that. And if it makes the world a better place, if it makes the world of Stranded Deep a better place, then yeah, go for it. So what are we doing? We are adding palm trees. Palm trees are good because they're fairly cheap. What am I doing with that one? I want it at a different height. I would like it at a different height, please. I would like it at a different height now. Okay, cool. So just a little rotate just to make sure it's not. Ugh, that camera though. I know it's probably not something Beam Team can do anything about. I know it's probably Unity doing this, and I've said it every episode probably, that every time you get close to an object, the camera slows down. When you get further away, it speeds up. But when you've got a lot of objects on the screen and you're trying to do something quite granular, quite often you'll find that the camera just flies off towards the sun. It's just like, oh, I'm going to embrace you now, you fiery ball of delightfulness in the sky. And you're like, please, camera, I was focusing on something, and then your face is smashed against the skybox. It's a little bit of a problem. So yeah, we're going to put palm trees on either end just to give it like a physical, turn it more into a little bit of a physical barrier. It's kind of cool. We can do this. So what we're doing is taking these big old rocks, and they're all knobbly bobbly, and which is really real nice because when we push them into the sand, the island mesh pops through them a little bit, and depending on which way you've got it sort of angled and everything, what it does is it creates a little bit of extra interest on the ground where you would just have just kind of infinite the same texture. Yeah, I mean we can use small rocks, but these big ones, just using them like this is kind of neat. Very, very neat. So we're going to do this. We're not going to use you because you're too lumpy bumpy. It's not a problem, but it's not great. So we're going to press T, bring you down, move you over, do a little bit of a rotate, and then we'll just knock you down. So yeah, if you've ever been to the beach, there are usually huge lumps of rock just in the sand. and people go and sit on them or near them or around them, and they usually attract all manner of stuff. Cool. So we're just going to add a few more palm trees. Palm trees. Palm trees. Palm. It's interesting that the young palms and the big palms are not actually together in the little menu thing. Huh. You are the same size as everything else. Oh, I don't want you to be the same size as everything else. Let's use a palm 1. You're massive. Yes, you are. Good. Brilliant. So we'll do that. I'll rotate, and then we'll do little palm 4 over here. Yeah, we'll do that. And then a palm 3 next to it. Oh, this is good. This is very good. So they're all different heights, different rotations. Nice. With the higher areas or the drier areas and the sandiness, what we can do. Oh, my English is not very good today. I do not know. Oh, yeah. So I was looking at these plants. There's only about 3 main different types of plant. There's the alocasia, which I might be pronouncing these wrong. I'm just reading them as an English person would read them without actually having them read to me or pronounced to me. So alocasia, the ceramon, and was there something else? No. I think it's just it. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the kind of big shrubby looking plants that aren't just a bush or a resource plant. There are not that many plants, not that many different types of plants to deal to play with. Which I always thought kind of naively, either because I hadn't put much thought into it, but there were more plants. Different shapes of leaves and things. And I can't remember if they move in the breeze, because we haven't been playing the game for a while. I do remember that if you hit a yucca with an axe, now the whole thing bounces like a Disney cartoon. It's so strange. Very, very strange. So yeah, these 5 plants are essentially your structural plants. They're good plants. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like them. But you gotta use them in it. Well, that's not too bad. I normally like putting them vertical, but that one has actually landed quite nicely. It'll do the job. It'll do the job that it was designed for. I know there's a banana plant. Banana plants, they do have a little bug with them. If you try and walk into the banana plant, your avatar will shake, which means the camera will shake, and it's a little bit weird. So there's a flowering one here. So yeah, if I want to put lots of plants down, there's not like a huge variety of plants to put down. I mean, I'll do it. We'll do it. It'll be fine. You'll be fine. Okay, cool. So we'll do that over there, and then we'll do something over here as well, because we need to, and because we want to. Doing things because you want to is very, very important. Don't necessarily do everything because you need to. I've been told to. Good. That's I'm liking the blue, green, and yellow. That's sort of golden yellow with the green. Interestingly, if you do photography, which I do, and you take your photos in RAW, which all good photographers do, no exceptions to that particular rule. So if you're taking photographs and you've got a DSLR, every DSLR and some bridge cameras, I think some compacts will allow you to take raw images, which is essentially the raw sensor data, which is a grayscale image that has color values applied to it. Now the interesting thing about that is that when you process the image in, say, Photoshop or GNU Image Manipulator, which is also known as GIMP, which is kind of like Photoshop but free, but not Photoshop but free, if you see what I mean. Yeah. So GNU and Photoshop itself, what you'll do is you'll end up with a super high resolution, basically a resolution at your camera's basically whatever the maximum res for the sensor is. So we're just going to put down some young palms as well, which is super handy if you want to squeeze the absolute tibbly top out of your photographic experience. It takes a lot longer to edit. It can be a pain in the butt, especially to begin with. as you're learning things, but it's well worth your time. However, one of the cool things about it is HSL. There should be a tab somewhere called Hue, Saturation, and Luminance. It's certainly within Photoshop. I think it might be within Lightroom, and that's actually looking sweet. It's not overkill. It's not too bad. Hue, Saturation, and Luminance. It means you can bump individual saturations of colors, which is super handy, because what you then do is, this is looking a little bit bare over here. What you can do is, say you've taken a picture of a landscape, you can push the blues a little bit because you don't want to oversaturate the sky. You can push the oranges and the reds, which are used in almost all skin tones. Don't believe me? No, you will believe me. Reds are used in pretty much all skin tones. But greens don't really affect plants as much as you think they would. Pushing the yellow up, that will affect plants. That will affect the greeniness, the naturiness of plants. So yeah, what you see, or what you think you see, is not quite what you're actually seeing. So there's a top tip for budding photographers. One, get yourself into RAW, because that's where the images are made. And two, play with hue, saturation, and luminance. You will not be upset. RAW images tend to look undersaturated anyway when you take them straight off your camera. That's just because your camera hasn't processed them into a JPEG. Anytime a camera makes a JPEG, it automatically does a load of processing for you. So yeah, cool. Anyone who says, "Oh, this image is straight out the camera," is lying, or they don't know how a camera works. Think about that one. Good. Okay, cool. So we are, what are we doing here? We're just making sure the leaves aren't clipping through each other too badly. I don't think I'm going to get away with it, but also I don't think people are going to notice this far out. Okay, cool. I just want to add a little bit more greenery there. It looked a little bit sparse. What do we got? We're okay. Yeah, no, that's looking fine. Nice. That's doing exactly what I need it to do. Cool, and absolutely brilliant. Right, okay, fine. So we have done that. What we can do is we can leave this now and let our mind work on it. The different heights, different rotations of the palm trees are nice. That's good. What have we done here? Well, we've got some rocks on the inside. We've got the pine trees to create a little bit of shade and shelter. If a player comes along, puts a house here, and then lights a fire, these things are going to light up from underneath. There goes the camera being weird because it doesn't have linear velocity. Yeah, that's not me doing that. That's the literal camera. I don't know if Beam Team or anyone from Beam Team watches these videos, but if they could get, if I have one request for the editor, just linear camera speed would be super handy, like just amazingly handy. Yeah, that'd be cool. So what are we doing here? Well, we're going to hop over to the other island because this is feeling a little bit sparser than that side. What we are going to do is, so we created Bob Ross's happy little bush over here. It's off to one side. I don't know if I like it. I've left it. Oh dear. Oh, we'll leave that selected and go down and have a look at that. Okay, that was that. That was... Oh, of all the things in all the world... Yeah, we were moving Wilson around. Okay, fine. It's a little... let's put you over here. You've got to be a little bit careful because sometimes the camera will snap to something that isn't... Where were you? That's a question for the ages. Well, what we'll do is we'll put you in this section here. So if physics takes you, you should just drop and roll around here somewhere. Okay, fine. Okay, so we'll hit terrain and objects so you're not selected anymore. Yes, there goes the camera. Good. Yeah, Bob Ross's happy little bush, which apparently we can select everything but not the shrub itself. Did I want it to be more in the center, like like it is. Yeah, that's better. I think that's much better. And we'll just pull these in a little bit more, just to make sure that it does look like it was deliberately placed. Like a little ring of rocks. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm liking this. Which way is up? Green is up. There we go. Oh, yeah, okay. I was thinking about this last time and I was like, it doesn't feel like it is special. It just feels like a shrub in the ground. There we go. And we could do something, all it needs to be is very, very subtle in what we're doing. Right, so now that is in the center of a bunch of rocks. We haven't created some unholy symbol in the ground, have we? Oh, that'd be the worst thing. Oh no, you've created the symbol of I can't think of any ancient gods. Volon god Bougie. I'll get the bucket. There we go. That's cool. Okay, right, okay. Yeah, this bit here is a little bit on the nude side. There is not a lot going here. It is a sandy bar. And the other side has got a lot of stuff on it. A lot of stuff. Oh, that water does look real nice, though. It looks inviting. That sort of blue and then teal. Oh, it is so good. There are some elements of this game that are just brilliant. Some elements of the game that are really confusing. Some that are really brilliant. And the color of the water is one of them. Okay, cool. So we're going to go back to an old trope. We're going to grab rock. It's going to be a big rock. Oh! Yeah, no, I had a thought. Looking at Big Rock 1, and I was like, oh, Big Rock 1? What are you doing? And I was like, oh, wait a minute. We can do something real cool. And I thought, well, let's get to that in a moment. Let's get to that in a moment. Because what we need to do is, get this side of the island sorted. So we will put a rock down. Start with the rock. You don't have to start with a rock. You can just put trees anywhere. I don't know. I just like the aesthetic of having a rock there. And what we'll do is we'll put another one down next to it straight away. I'll take Big Rock 2. Oh no. Okay, I see what's happened here. I have two objects selected at the same time. So I've got to let go of that. And fortunately I can get hold of this. Yeah, okay, so there we go. Sometimes when you drag stuff out of the menu, it sort of moves in a way that drags. It might drag an object with it. It's a curious thing. I've seen it in other bits of software. It might just be a Windows thing or just a computer thing in general. But yeah. So what we almost did was stuff this rock to a point in the map where we could not get access to it again because you can't go through an item list. There's no item list for stuff that you've placed. And after a while, let's be honest, that list would be enormous. It would be huge to a point where I would be a little bit worried about things like memory limits and stuff. I don't know if there are there must be a memory limit to the game. I know that when you're making maps, you've got to be a little bit careful of putting too many things that are dependent on the computer being very powerful. So not too many physics objects, certainly not too many animals, because what you might end up with is something, I don't want animals, is something that doesn't work very quickly. So you might find that players to your island, they don't render grass. So they're not going to be seeing grass texture here. And when they look over, if they're on a laptop, they're not going to be seeing any trees either. Might not even see any rocks. So you've got to keep that in mind. I mean, this machine has the power. But if someone's playing on a laptop, might not have it. Might not have that power. So we're looking for a ficus. I'm going to tell myself that because I'm talking and putting stuff down at the same time. And it's just like, you know what you're doing, buddy? And I'm like, no. Yes, but no. Talking and putting stuff down at the same time. It's a little bit tricky. It can be a little bit tricky. Wouldn't recommend it. I mean, I would recommend it, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's like trying to talk and do things at the same time. I don't know. It's been a long day. It's been a long old day, and it's not going to get any shorter anytime soon. So, we've got a ficus tree. We are going to put you here. Can I rotate this? Can I roll it onto its side a little bit? Can I make something of this? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we can actually. There we go. Just get that edge up. Click on you. Make sure you are the one that is selected. Ooh. I was talking to someone, actually. I was talking to someone on the phone not so long ago. Monday, about cameras. We were having a discussion about all good things. I use Pentax primarily. I love Pentax. I'm a bit of a fanboy in that way. But this lad used Canon. So he was looking for something lighter than his current Canon cameras for taking weddings and stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, we can probably go through a list of stuff. And we looked at the Fujis, and we looked at the Canon, I think, G series and stuff like that. And basically, I was talking about the cameras that I use, and I said, look, I've got a K1, which is my go-to girl. So K1 with a 7200 DFA star. And he was like, what is go-to girl? And I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, I hadn't actually realized or hadn't even thought about that certain things, certain vernacular or even metaphor that I use probably doesn't translate very well. Go-to girl is like the one thing you go to if you need something or need it done. So yeah, I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. So I was like, yeah, well, it's just of all the cameras I own, that is the one that I will go to when I absolutely positively need to get a job done. So yeah, interesting that we all speak English, or speak the same language primarily. I'm assuming people who are watching these videos speak some form of British English, maybe, or just I would say American English, but aluminium. Come on, guys. Did we not discover it first? But I'm losing my train of thought here. I'm going to put in shrubs and trees. Let's just throw an aloe vera in there because I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, where was that train of thought going? Yeah, we speak the same language, but quite often we can't understand each other. I think that's where I was going. What I'm not doing is putting a bush in here. It would actually work quite well, but I'm going to leave this sort of at least quarter of this island free of shrubbery and just leave that particular bush down. We might put some more rocks and bits and pieces around it just to make it a little bit more separate from the world. But for the time being, we're not. Because I need to get other things done in the meantime. So we're going to put some plant life down, but we're also going to need freaking cameras, man. Who would trust them? We're going to put yucca down because of the way the game works. We need to put some yuccas down. So I put one on the other side of the island, and I was like, "Ooh, we did not have that many." And they are used for a lot of things. You can burn the leaves now. You can use them for water. I still don't fully agree with that. As someone who owns a Collins Gem Pocket SAS Survival Guide, I know you can get water with a Kit Kat wrapper on a shoe, or a small picture of the Queen, and a pocket full of change. You know, there's lots of ways of getting water. So yeah. Oh yeah, you're huge. You are huge and structural plant. I like you. Come over here and become part of this island. Nice. Yeah. Okay. I will just rotate you a little bit so you are a little bit more upright, and then take your leaves out of the yucca. There we go. That's kind of cool. All right. So we got a nice shady thing. One of the cool things with the yuccas is that the branches lean over the beach. I like it. I like it a lot. So we've added, that was barren, there was nothing there. We click on terrain and objects to unselect everything. And now we have this kind of ridge of plant life, and there's stuff there for people to get. I like it. That's brilliant. I like it. They have that there. I think some palm trees. Palm trees might be handy. So let's do it. If you want to do it, do it. We will grab, there's pines, here's some palms. Oh yeah, let's get some big palms in there, even bigger. Cool. So we'll put some palms here, and what we'll do is we'll put them close to the hole itself, but in the hole. And the reason for that is as you're walking along, is that taken away from? Normally we would put them between the beach and the shoreline, but I don't think I like that there. Let's get rid of you and get rid of you. Yes, okay. Yeah, I think keeping it open is probably a better idea. So the reason for that is because the interior is the focus of this map. I don't want to put anything that's going to take away from that. So being able to run this entire crescent, I will do something momentarily to break that up. So it's not like completely one thingy. It's fine. I'll show you after we've done with these young palms. Hello? Young palms. There we go. We'll do a little rotate and we'll throw another young palm over here. There we go. Now, question. We've got young palms over there. Okay, yeah, cool. So we've got these palm trees. We've got these ficus trees. We've added stuff over there. Yep, that's good. That is very, very good. Now, we'll hit terrain and objects. Here, I was looking at this and I was like, ooh, you know what? This is actually pretty good. If you're this side of the island, you can come along here and just ramp off here and jump into the water. It is, you give players something and they will leap off it. They will find something to climb on or over or up onto, and then they will jump off, which is why we've given them a lot of stuff to climb on, to swim to, to climb on, to walk out over, not just the hole itself. The hole itself on its, by itself is good. Bloop. But, we have things that we, on the surface that we need them to do or want them to do. Motorbikes. Oh, wow. You can tell it's the summer. So we have rocks, and this is where one of the big rocks comes in. It might be Big Rock 2, actually. So I was looking at this, and I was thinking, oh, hang on a minute. Yes, because we need to do this. We have to do this. This side of the island doesn't have what the other side has. So what we can do is find a nice end to this. There is an end to it that is real nice. Is that it? I think is that it? I mean, I'm asking a question. I'm not expecting a response here. We'll just press T. We'll slide you out. I'll bring you up a little bit. And then, see, I think, what is this bit here? This kind of rounded bit. Let's press C. Clone you. Yes, please. And then move you out. Are you the same rock? You might not even be the same rock. Oh, that'd be terrible. Okay, we're gonna use these toggles. Gonna use these toggles in the most slow way possible to get you over here. I think you might actually, trees. I think you might be the same rock, but what we're gonna do is rotate you around, pull you back. Yeah, it is the same rock, but we've got it on a different angle. So I'll get rid of you by pressing delete on the keyboard, and I will hit yes, please. There you go. I have noticed that sometimes you need to press yes twice, because the first time it doesn't activate. It's kind of a curious thing. Like when you're exiting the game, the option, like yes is highlighted, but it's not activated. It's not like 3, 2, 1, activate. Oh, what was that from? Oh, that was Robot Wars UK. Yeah, that was good. The first episode, the first season had Jeremy Clarkson in it. There's a thing. So we've got a little rocky thing. We want it just above the waves. Above the waves. We can touch the waves. It's not an issue for us. And what we'll do is we'll have that poking out, and then we will grab another rock, and we will push the rock down to the ground, and basically to rotate. What we want to do is make it so that actually has I suppose gravitas, or it looks like it's supposed to be there. It's not just like a lump of rock that got placed there. Not really liking that. I'm gonna pull you down a little bit. Okay, we're gonna have to play around with this, I'm afraid. Well, I'm not really afraid. That's another thing that I've heard catches people out. That you're like, ooh, it's gonna rain today, I'm afraid. And people are like, well, why are you afraid? What's so scary? It's like, no, it's just it's a thing. I guess like when people say like a lot. I have noticed that, especially in podcasts. They get a guest in and they say, "Oh, guest, this is your area of expertise. Tell us what you were thinking, no?" And they say, "Well, like," and you're like, "Oh, please." I think the word "like" is used as is it a simile or a metaphor? It's when you're talking about simile or a metaphor normally. So you would say like and then give a simile or a metaphor. And that's how it's done. But you do find that when people talk, sometimes they will use the same words over and over again, as their mind is kind of freewheeling, or if they're busy thinking about something, it's almost like a screensaver. They've gone somewhere, and now I'm very, very conscious of the words that are coming out of my mouth. That's a terrible way to be. It is a very, very awkward way to be. I suppose we could just talk in British for the rest of this episode. We could be, what ho, top hole, old bean, pip pip, tally ho. Yeah, Battle of Britain. That was a terrible. Well, it was a good film, but also a terrible film because it didn't. It was very classist. Well, I'm from America, and we've got the problems at the moment with culture and stuff. yeah. Good luck with that. Have fun with all of that. We had class was a very big thing, especially during the war, both wars, and a lot of people in positions of leadership were there because of social ranking, social status. And it's kind of a curious thing. It's very the opposite of a meritocracy. What would be? I don't know what it is actually. What you would call it? What the opposite of a meritocracy is, but where people aren't in positions of power because they're good at something, but they're in a position of power because is it nepotism? Is the opposite of a meritocracy? Don't know. So we've got a little jumping off platform with a tree in our vision. We've added some rocks around to make it look a little bit less, I don't know how to phrase this in front of the kids, so put your hands over their ears, a little bit less phallic. I know some people might go, oh no, no, why did you have to point that out? But it's you gotta, it's not looking good. Oh no. It's just a jumping off platform. It's too high up, isn't it? Press R and rotate down. There we go. Okay. Maybe we can use a cliff. Cliff 1. No, it wasn't. It was Cliff 2. The enormous Cliff 2. Hello, Cliff 2. Where have you been all my life? Well, that immediately does something. There we go. That kind of that does something. That does indeed do something. Yeah, that kind of breaks that texture up. And what we'll do with this is move that out. Hit a little R to rotate, and then press T to drop down. Blue, and I believe green, and then blue again. Okay. I think we've managed to save the day. There we go. Cool. And then what we'll do is, that's looking a little bit freaky dicky. So we'll hit R, look down, and just do a little rotate. Why is that rotating around that point? It's not rotating in a way that I would have liked. But sometimes things don't happen in the way you like. Okay, fine, that's okay. I just wanted the different texture sort of coming through. I'll press T and I'll raise it up a little bit. Hold green, pull it up. because there's a little bit of rock, like textury bits coming through. I don't like this bit here. That's kind of stretched texture. So hit R, rotate you around, then press T, and kind of manipulate you through the terrain. Let's hit the red toggle. I think, do I need green? I need the green one. There we go. There we go. Now what that should have done is you've got a little bit of rock underneath. You got this kind of kicking out here. All right, that's neat. Let's have a look here. This doesn't. This. I think this is unavoidable. We're gonna have to raise it up a little bit. So let's do it. So we're gonna have to play, manipulate, and T. Okay. So we'll get you back. Green and blue. There we. Oh, that's much better. Much better. So it's a jumping off point for people who like jumping off things, and what we'll do is stuff another rock under there. Yes, we will, because that helps. Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. And then, it's done it again. All right, we'll put that there, and then see if we, where did we get it from? Here. And it doesn't need to take it back to the starting point. All right. I mean, that can be annoying sometimes. The only real way to stop that happening is to click terrain and then objects. And then you don't have anything selected. The reason we are going to be taking in the rock is so that we can pop it down in the terrain and repeat a theme. So that is get the rock in the terrain. Do we want this one? I don't think we do. Let's click on Big Rock 4. All right, rotate you around and press T, and you'll go down into the terrain. Nice. And we'll bring you up and rotate you around a little bit. Blue. What are you doing? Okay, this is very steep here. I have noticed this. So we perhaps don't want to put that too close to the edge. Bearing in mind, players might be trying to run around the inner edge. They'll try and run around the inner edge and outer edge, especially if they're exploring and scavenging. And then what we'll do is go back to trees and grab ourselves a ficus. I wouldn't normally put a ficus in the middle of a pine forest for reasons. The reason being that the deciduous tree would not normally be found with... I think I need to move you, in fact. What are you doing here? You're breaking one of our rules. You can go over here. Break some other rule. Okay, fine. Deciduous trees wouldn't normally be found with like pine trees because the pine needles are acidic and they drop on the ground and they don't make the soil acidic. So, that's the thing. Although you do find beech trees near pine forests. So, don't know. Are these clipping into it? Yes, these are. So what are you doing, dude? Oh, okay. So what I'm doing is I'm rotating this around to a point where it'll fit. And I'm going to have to move this again. Not a problem. It's actually a good thing that I'm having to move this. Yep. Okay. I will do that a little bit further down. So it's actually jammed into the ground. Nice. We will then look here. And just rotate it. So I'm kind of rotating it so it's just not touching these pine trees. Camera. Not touching the pine trees, but so we have the rock here, near this rock here, so the rocks aren't too out of place. It adds a little bit of shade and shelter, but it also adds cover for this area here. And the shade on the ground looks real nice. So that's a good thing. We'll throw in, what are we throwing in aloe vera? Probably throw something else there. But for the time being, a nana plant will do for a little bit of interest, ground interest, because plants like being together in a little nursery. Oh, wait a minute. Like a garden centre? I hadn't even thought of that. But it sounds plausible, and if it sounds plausible and you say it with enough conviction, people will believe you. I mean, don't tell people. I mean, don't use that power for great evil. Always use powers like that for great good. Like, when talking about, I don't know, mid-December time. You know, the stuff like that. I'm not going to say it just in case any kids are watching. Why would kids watch this? Why would anyone watch this? Why would I watch this? I don't know. Goodbye, tree. I don't like you. No, the leaves are clipping into the ground and I didn't like that. So we are just going to move this over here. Ha, cool. A little bit of rotate. There we go. Oh, yeah. That's nice. Just make sure you're not clipped in there. Probably are. You are. All right. More of a rotate. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We'll leave it. We'll leave it. We'll do it live. Okay, so we have thrown in terrain objects. We've thrown in another little ski ramp thing. I might refine that, or I might just leave it. But for anyone on this side of the island, they can just jump off into the water. I might move this rock here, just in case someone is awkward and starts building on this side if they want to build a house or something. The rocks will stop them building foundations and things, but that should be okay there. So we've added ficus. I don't know if I want to move that or not, but we'll leave it. We'll leave it. Let our subconscious deal with it. We've added this ficus. We've added little small amounts of detail. We've refined Bob Ross's happy little bush, and we have thrown in stuff on the sandbar and kind of just tweaked it a little bit. And then there are things that were not on this episode but have been done, like these rocks and the yucca and everything. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Well, it's looking more of an island now. It is looking like everything is coming up roses. Except roses aren't in the game. It'd be nice if they were. Although the main purpose of roses is to have a scent, so that would be weird if Beam Team suddenly shipped you a load of scratch and sniff cards. I probably wouldn't scratch them or sniff them. Just kind of a question of self-preservation, really. Whoa, what is this one? Ooh, it is your avatar after 50 days stranded deep. Oof, no, thank you. Good. I think I'm going to leave it there. So if you're watching this and you're like, ooh, I really like these episodes. I'd like to hear more of your voice talking to me about trees and cameras and stuff. Definitely leave a little like, leave a subscribe. And if you do subscribe, click the little bell, because I believe that will give you a notification when a video goes live. And you can be like, ooh, the video is going live. I will now watch it with my eyeballs. Which is how I hope most people watch the videos. And you know what? I'll catch you next time.